Hey gang, and welcome to another Animal Crossing video. I'm Crossing Channel, and since the latest Animal Crossing New Horizons update, we've discovered a bunch of really interesting things within the game's codes thanks to data miners who have shared their findings. And today we've got another really interesting discovery which could be an exciting new update or change for the future of Animal Crossing New Horizons in relation to villagers. This pertains to potential villager jobs and new activities which would honestly be super cool. So I want to give over all the details that you need to know about this within this video, so let's jump right into this. So this was discovered by data miner Stony within the Animal Crossing New Horizons server, and they mentioned that female villagers have a nurse dress uniform, a nurse cap, male villagers have nurse's jacket, and both genders have the doctor's coat assigned to them within the code of Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, villagers can wear these outfits anyways, what's so special about this? Well, it's really interesting that there is actually specific code that assigns these very specific job-related outfits to villagers within Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now currently, as far as we know, these outfits wouldn't be used in any other circumstance. So there's nowhere in the game where you can see villagers just dressed up as doctors and nurses, unless of course you gift these items to them yourself. So Nintendo within the code of the game has assigned specific job-related outfits to the villagers. And this was coming from someone who asked a question mentioning that there was a data mine for villagers with these outfits. And believe it or not, but that wasn't all. In fact, more job-related outfits, or I guess activity-related outfits, were discovered for the villagers. These were the after-school jacket for the jock and cranky villagers, the school jacket for lazy and smug, and the sailor's tee for female villagers. And Stony sort of speculates here that these could be school uniforms, which honestly would make a lot of sense. So Nintendo has taken the time to kind of assign these specific outfits to the villagers within the game's code, despite the fact you can't see it anywhere in the game. And this might seem kind of familiar to some of you who are familiar with Animal Crossing New Horizons, because it may remind you of a certain feature within another Animal Crossing game that was in Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. And of course, this was the fact that you could build your own hospital and even your own school within that game. One of the major features in that game was that you could build and design buildings, and your villagers would appear there and have their own little jobs and activities that they could do. For example, they would be in the hospital, and some of them could be doctors, some of them could even be patients, and they'd have their own cool emotions and such. Of course, in the school you would have a teacher villager, and you'd also have villagers as the students, and you could design these however you want. So the similarities here definitely seem really interesting. These are definitely some of the outfits that you could expect probably to see your villagers wearing in Happy Home Designer. So it's really interesting, the connection here and the possible link that maybe there could in the future be some kind of Happy Home update for Animal Crossing New Horizons where villagers would get their own kind of mini jobs and activities to do in new buildings that you design around the island. Now of course that part is speculative on my part, but there is definitely something going on with the villagers in the code for the game, and it does seem like Nintendo is gearing up to do more with them. We've seen more dialogue added within the recent updates, and of course we've seen some really interesting data mine changes with villagers relating to them giving you fortunes, and of course the code for villagers visiting your houses. So it really wouldn't surprise me if they did do some kind of Happy Home kind of add-on where maybe you could design some buildings in a separate place. Maybe you could fly there via the seaplane, just like you designed the sort of town square in Happy Home Designer. That'd be a really great opportunity for Lottie and Lyle to return to the game, and Digby too of course, and for you to enjoy some of the elements from that game. Something else that was discovered within the code of the game quite a while ago was something called Business Mode, which seemingly related to villager wardrobes within the game. Now this has never been used in the game itself, and people aren't quite sure what it is, but maybe there could be some kind of connection here. This piece of code was actually removed in one of the most recent updates, so whatever business mode is, Nintendo has hidden it away. Who knows if it actually means anything though, or if it was just some kind of leftover code that is no longer necessary in the game. Either way, I do find it incredibly interesting that there's all this kind of stuff going on behind the scenes related to villagers and their wardrobes and their outfits, and such specific outfits assigned to them which really would relate to these kind of jobs that they would need to do in the game. Now, something else that's coming over from Happy Home Designer, assuming this is kind of similar, would obviously be the ceiling furniture, which I've mentioned before in my videos. This was datamined quite a while ago, and I believe it hasn't cropped up anytime since, but it does definitely seem like Nintendo at some point does want to add more features from Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, with ceiling furniture possibly being one of them. So it would be incredibly interesting if they did decide to do some kind of Happy Home update within the game. Who knows exactly what that could entail? Maybe it wouldn't be anything as drastic as you actually designing huge buildings and such, but it really wouldn't surprise me if they did port over some of the features from Happy Home Designer. In fact, I was honestly pretty surprised that they didn't port over more features from that game, because it did have so many interesting ones. And designing your own kind of school and hospital was just one of many design features that you had within that game that would honestly fit so well into Animal Crossing New Horizons. So I definitely think that at some point Nintendo could share some of those ideas with Animal Crossing New Horizons to improve the game even more. But what do you think? Do you think we could potentially see some kind of villager jobs and activity update within the game? Do you think maybe villagers could go to school and have their own little school building that they could appear in? Maybe they could work in a little hospital just like they could in Happy Home Designer. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to comment Bob's Gang down below so I know you did. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos. If you want to help support my channel and the content I make here, consider becoming a member of the Bob's Gang. You can get a whole bunch of cool perks for doing so, and it really helps support all the content that I make here.